In this introductory video, I'm going to show you the things you'll need to know before you even begin to look for where these files are. There's a few things you can find in-game that will tell you a lot about what you're going to be able to do, what's possible, and what sort of things you can do with these costumes. The first thing you'll want to do is find a solid wall. Anyone in the world will do, so long as it makes your camera bend in like it is on my screen. Once you find a wall like this, you'll activate your walk key, default number pad /, and walk slowly up to the wall. Now this can only be done if you set your field of view pretty far back. You'll need a far field of view. If your field of view is closer like this, it makes it much harder to see what we're looking for here. So get a far field of view, somewhere around 170 will probably do. Then slowly move your camera around and adjust your character as needed to be close to the wall where you start clipping in like I'm doing here. Sometimes it can be a little hard to get the angles just right, but when you do, something like this will happen. Now here you can see that the seam of the body and the seam of the clothing end at a very specific point. What this means is when you go and edit these, or when you look at these in Photoshop, there's nothing underneath this costume, meaning you can't take away this costume and have something underneath. It's simply impossible. Which means you're very limited with what you can do with this particular costume. You realistically could only recolor this one in this instance, or add something above or below it. But as far as removing and changing the costume entirely, if it's not within the bounds that the costume are in, it's just not possible. So here we have another outfit in-game which has a little bit different of an effect. So if we do the same thing and zoom into the wall, you can see that the costume is actually on top of a body at this point where the costume is clipping. What this means is you can effectively remove or change this piece of the costume to something else, and there would still be a character model underneath it. Of course, there might be some things with spec files you'll have to change, but this one is much more editable than the previous. And that's it. That's all you'll need to know and do before you even begin thinking about what you want to do for a costume like this. That's what I've found to help me. That's what I've found works pretty well when knowing what you can and can't do. And I hope this video helped you, and this introductory video gave you some insight